Alright, here we are. This is a 24 by 42 12-foot sidewall with a 312 pitch and a 1-foot overhang. I'm going to apologize if the picture gets a little jumpy here, but I'm going to walk over towards it and show you some of the features. We've got a couple of windows down the side here. Those are 3-foot by 3-foot windows. We've got a 12-foot wide by 10-foot tall garage door and a 4-foot walk door. All right, come inside here. Open up the door so we got a little bit of light. You can see how the building is laid out, real similar in the pictures. This building is built out of 5.5-inch steel stud versus 3.5-inch. If you take a look over the door, it's a little difficult to see. I'll try and zoom in. What that is a 5.5-inch stud laid on its side and then welded into a pocket. That's how we treat almost all of our door headers on door spans that are over 4 foot, or window openings or what have you that are over 4 foot. This one right here, there's a section of framing that's there's a pocket, basically a pocket that's in there, and there's you can see the one that we're looking at right here. This one is a 5.5-inch steel stud. There's another one on the other side, and then they're both welded in, so it's rigid. What we do on the side walls, or sorry, not the side walls, but right next to the door, it's a little hard to see with the garage door in here, but there's 2 king studs and 2 trimmers. You really can't see, well, you can sort of see right here, there's a weld, but anyway, there's typically 2 king studs and 2 trimmers on big door openings, and those are all welded together, and that's what creates a shear wall next to a garage door. If we go back, you can see these horizontal members in here. We've got the bottom track that's full of leaves from sitting outside. We got this next horizontal member, and we go up, there's another one, and then we've got the upper track up there. These horizontal members, we can place those anywhere in the wall that we want, and any number of them in the wall that we want. The same goes for these utility holes right here. We can put them anywhere. There's this size and this size only, which is about 1.5 inches by 4 inches. And we can put these anywhere in the wall that we want, in any location that we want. And then also, whenever we put one of those horizontal members in, there's always one smack in the middle of it, so the wires can get snaked up through those. In the corners, this is a little deceptive, a little hard to tell in this corner, the way the corners are laid out. But typically in a corner, this piece right here is just a nailer for drywall or whatever. We can remove that, add it, subtract it, doesn't really matter. But back in behind here, there's also 3 more right in this area right here. And that's what you screw to. That's how you attach this wall to this wall, is you butt these up and you screw through this throat into this wall. It's actually a 3-pack is what's in there. There's 3 studs in this area right here, and that's how you attach the two wall halves together. Going along here, you can see the trusses are all laid out. Those members on the trusses, these right here, these are your purlins. Those are pieces of 7/8 hat track, and those screw to the top cord of the truss, and they run the full length of the building, and that is what the roof sheeting attaches to. You can see how the trusses are all laid out, all lined up. Everything is right where it needs to be. One other thing that I wanted to show you in this particular building is how the wall panels join together. It's a little bit difficult to see again, but this building is 42 foot long, so it's at 24 foot, 2 24-foot sidewall panels, and that's how it's put together. It's not one full panel. This right here is the joint. This is where the 2 pieces come together. This member right here is where this 24-foot wall panel and this 24-foot wall panel sorry, 21 foot since it's 42. 21 foot and 21 foot come together. And again, we have the same scenario. You can see there's a screw right there. We've got another screw right here. That's how you join them together. You just butt them up and screw them together. The utility holes for the electrical all line up. So do the two horizontal members. You have one here and one here. And this is the joint right there. That's how they come together. One other thing I wanted to talk about was another style of header. Back over here at the garage door, we've got the 5.5 inch steel stud welded header. We also put in L headers typically over walk doors. They're simple, they're fast, they're easy, they're code approved. This L header, all it is it's a piece of steel that is either 10, 12, or 14 inches vertical, and then it laps over the top track by 1.5 inches. So an L header in this scenario, this is totally code approved, and this is generally what we do over walk doors. You come down the walk door, we can see we got our sill plate right here. The rough opening is obviously top to bottom, side to side, is set up just right for this 4-foot door. Come along here, we got windows. This is how the windows are treated. This particular window is a gelled-in vinyl window. It's got a nailing flange. That nailing flange attaches from the outside. It gets screwed into the studs, into the lower sill, and then also into the upper sill. And that's how the window gets attached. Again, we see our horizontal members. We can place those anywhere we want. We got our solid bottom track. And you can also see real well how how everything kind of lays out. Our machine, it naturally rolls the steel stud, it punches these holes anywhere that we want, and then also it comes along and it makes, this is another piece of stud. And so the machine will punch this hole out, and it'll also put a screw locate hole such as this in there, and that is how the whole thing fits together. This piece slides through this piece, and there's a corresponding dimple in this one and one in this, and once those two pop together, you run a screw in there, and that's how you assemble a wall panel. Come down here a little bit further. This is a real good example of how it's set up. This is a piece of stud which is set up like a piece of track, and we notch this return lip out right here. And that's how the stud fits inside of another stud. Same thing down here. You've got a dimple and a screw head, or sorry, a dimple and a recess, and that's how the screw, that's how you know where the stud fits in the track, is with that screw. Come on up and you can get a real good look right there of the screw and how it's recessed in. We'll kind of come around. You can see how it sits flush. And then again, I'll get up underneath it here. You can see the notch. And that's how a stud fits inside of another stud. And again, we can place these members here, these horizontal members, anywhere we want to in the wall. And that's how you attach the sheeting to it. If you run the sheeting, if you run regular pole barn sheeting vertically, you have to have these in, and that's what you attach to. However, if you rotate this to the side and run it horizontally, then you attach to the studs. And you don't have to have these members in. You just attach to the studs if you're running it horizontally. This is just standard pole barn sheeting here, standard pole barn trim. That's the type of material that you would be receiving on your building. Well, just kind of pan around here a little bit and take a look at how everything's on 2-foot on center layout. All the corners are the same as I explained before. The trusses, these trusses actually attach a little bit different than what I explained in the other video, but I'll go into that further on how the trusses attach. We always like to run a continuous brace through the trusses along the bottom to keep them from racking and shifting around, and then on each end we have an angle brace. We have an angle brace right there. You can see that angle brace. It runs from the very top all the way down, and that's what keeps the whole building from racking side to side. Framed openings. All framed openings are treated as a framed opening. And I explained that a little bit better in the other video of how framed openings are set up. Come over here onto the opposite wall from where we were. You can see where the two 21-foot panels join. They join right here on this wall, just the same. Everything, again, on a 2-foot on-center layout. Just kind of look around here a little bit. Sweep up again, you can see the purlins. There's one there, there's one there, there's one there, there's one there. We put those on a 2-foot on-center layout as well. So trusses on 2-foot centers, purlins on 2-foot centers. Everything is rated for a minimum of a 90-mile-per-hour wind load with an exposure C category. Seismic, everything is set up for this area. We have a 30, I believe it's a total of 50-pound loading on the roof, which is a 30-pound snow load, a 10-pound live load, and a 10-pound dead load. And I can also adjust those settings as well if your particular area requires something different. We'll zoom in here a little bit on the headers. You can see we've got the L header over the walk door, and then we've got that welded header over the overhead door. So typically, also, again, I'll go in on windows and just simple openings such as windows. We only go with one king stud on either side. If it's a wider opening, I'll typically do a couple of king studs, or we'll do king studs in a single trimmer, or two king studs and a double trimmer. It just depends on the size of the opening. I like to have those fairly beefy if need be, but if they don't need to be very beefy, then there's no reason to put that extra material in there. And that's about it. This was one of the buildings I had planned on showing you, and this is my father's building. Again, it's a 24 by 42, 12-foot tall, with a 312 pitch. Your buildings are 24 by 40 with they're around 10'6", 11-foot tall with a 212 pitch. So real similar. This is a real similar arrangement. And that concludes this tour of this building.